I'm so excited to talk to you. This has just been such a fun week at the pickleball headquarters, basically, because our HR girls sent out this little quiz that you guys have, like, oh, find out your pickleball aura, blah blah blah. And so everyone in the office has been taking their auras, and then it just like planted the seed in my brain, and I was like, wait a minute, people who got, yellows were obsessed with like watching, videos on how to better make their game better and stronger. And then people with red, they were much more competitive and fierce. And I just immediately saw this correlation and I was like, I have to talk to the expert about this.
That is so, I gotta share that on my socials or something because that is so cool. People would go bananas for that. I
I know.
love that.
So just tell me a little bit about you. Tell me about your background. How did you end up getting into aura reading? I mean, this is so fascinating.
All right, so I've seen colors around people my whole life. I just didn't know what it was good for. It's just something, and it was just something I thought everyone could do. Kind of like, how I don't know, some people can't visualize, but, or some people, but some people who do are like, how do you not visualize? Or some people talk to themselves in their head or something. I thought everybody could see colors around. But I knew, and then you grow up and you're like, oh, okay, whatever. It's like my thing, and I didn't want to do anything with it. I didn't know what to do with it, so I went into teaching. So I was a Spanish teacher for middle school students, and I would use the colors to teach. So I would be like, oh, okay, like yellow kids like grammar, purple kids like to do, in the restaurant and reenact more creative things. Red kids loved when I made a game. They got really into that, competitive. So I was like, oh my gosh, like this helps me differentiate instruction. And then it was just getting deeper. Like I was getting more messages and, I was growing out of what I was doing and I felt the need to really connect with people because understanding your aura is like understanding your personality and your authentic self. So making choices that align with your energy is something I really wanted to help people do. So here we are. Then I started doing this, and I have the Know Your Aura podcast, and I have my Facebook group, and I do readings for my practice, and yeah, here we are.
That's so cool. So you immediately saw, just like with people in general, that there was this correlation. And then I noticed it very briefly in the office. So do
Yeah.
you think that that is, just a correlation that like, I don't know how often you read athletes' auras, but do you think there's a correlation between how they are on the court or on the field and anything like that?
Absolutely. I always say auras are in the details. Like it's energy that motivates us. You can think of it as your energetic signature. So it's energy, how you're motivated. So once you're playing a game, for example, it's everybody's going to have an answer to why it really hits them, why they stick with it, why it's something that makes them feel alive. Maybe it's the self-improvement like a yellow might have. Maybe it's the competition like a red might have. Maybe it's the science of the game, or the strategy like a green might have. There's a lot of different ways that and when you learn how you're connecting to it, it can help you lean into it more and help you connect with yourself and improve it. And it's kind of like when you understand why you like to do something, you can grow that about yourself and make more choices that align with it. So, yeah, there's totally a correlation to any sort of athlete and their aura color. It'll help them be a better athlete. Kind of understanding just how your body moves, like, oh, I'm a little short this way, or I'm better at this way. I'm not athletic, so here I am like making up stuff, or I don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like my left side's weaker than my right side, or blah, blah, blah. Same thing with your energy. Like, hey, competition isn't my thing, but I really like competing with myself. That could be like a yellow aura kind of way to connect. So different types of ways to understand yourself can improve yourself.
Interesting. Do you see that, maybe Reds would be better athletes based off of just that competitive drive? Like, do you think that would be true?
It depends on what the game that's a great question because how you connect to it is how you're going to stick with it. So if you're red and you know that you're red, so that, red auras are direct, assertive, they're take charge, they love competition and they love the feeling of winning and they like, all right, I did it. I scrapped ahead. I was behind and I got ahead and they like replaying that whole thing for them. And and understanding, okay, I beat my opponent, I know their weaknesses, like I got it, that makes them kind of sometimes a more outwardly, you would think, oh, that person's better at it. But then the person who's kind of more in their head, like let's say a green aura, I love the strategy. If I put the ball here, then this happens there, kind of more the
Interesting.
inside game, like playing chess with your opponents or playing chess with the system of the whole game, or even strategizing how you play it maybe in a league, or how, okay, we're going to do it this way, we're going to win here, we might lose here, but that's okay because we'll pick it up here. Kind of understanding it that way can help you connect with that. And on an outward scope, if you look at it kind of an overall or like an eagle eyes view, it's like, hey, they're a really good player. Or if you're yellow, for example, it's like, wow, did you see the personal growth from day 1 to day 60 with this player? How she learned how to do this better, or she improved this, or she's been moving, kind of, it's a game with themselves, like really creating self-improvement within the context of playing a game. So it depends what the public, I think public opinion is always going to be like, oh, they're super, they slay on the court. Like reds tend to kind of pop out as they must be better at it, but they're not. It's just how you interpret what better is. Does that make sense?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Well, and pickleball is such a funny little sport because it's not hyper athletic, it's that's why that strategy you talking about the greens is so interesting because I'm like, this is probably the most diverse color aura sport ever, I would think.
When I was before this call, I was looking at a lot. I was looking at your Instagram over at the pickleball Instagram, and I was looking just kind of like through I don't know, like different things online. And then I'm in Florida, so there's a huge I'm in South Florida,
Okay.
and there are a lot
I'm
of
from
55
Central
and
Florida.
okay, so you get it. So
I
there,
do.
and I know the sport's getting younger. I definitely know that. But where I am, there's a lot of 55 and older, and they are intense. And the gym I go to, they are like, they show up with their paddles and whatnot. And these people do not play around. Like they they come to win pickleball.
Hmm.
So I feel like it's like as you get, let's say you're older and the sport calls to you, you can kind of settle into the strategy. So like green aura, older people, I feel like they're, it's like, okay, I can win in strategy. Or I can, I don't have to be the strongest or the fastest. I know how to put myself in certain locations or make the other opponent weaker based on what I can do. So you can move things around. I think it's a head game. And I think that's why pickleball is something that people are latching onto, because it's not just about who's the quickest or the strong. It's like who's can outthink it. And I feel like that really appeals to greens and that appeals to yellows too. And not to count out what I call the empath colors like purples and blues. I feel like it's not as intimidating to kind of blue aura people who are a little more compassionate and because it's like the friendliness and the community of the game, I feel like definitely draws people in.
Oh, that's so true. So, do you play pickleball at all?
No, I'm super not athletic, but I love watching it. My husband will play it. I'll watch him. I'll watch like I said, I'll watch my friends at the gym play it. You don't want to see me do anything, but I'm a great fan. I'm a really good fan. I'm indigo purple, so indigo is like to kind of like I'm watching from over here and I'm fine, and I'm purple, so I love a good show,
Yes.
but I'm not. But yeah.